Hello everybody, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave. This is going to be the first episode of Prince Iroh's, I have the character sheet here, Prince Iroh's journey. He's around 15 years old. I'm going to be using the, let's see if it's upright, yep, the Uncle Iroh's Dream game, card game. So they're all here. There's a lot more of them. There's a lot of cards in this one. So I'm going to use this as a random table. So if I find an animal, I'll pull 3 cards and choose the best of, unless the first card made a lot of sense. There's my scene setup for Mythic Game Master Emulator. I'm playing solo, so I'll stay the scene a little bit once we get into it. Here's my 3 bennies. These tokens came in this box, so it's perfect, 3 bennies. I have Xanathar's Guide to Everything, just in case. I always have this book with solo RPGing. Fate chart with all other type of goodies in there. And the Legacy of the Fire Nation. This is the memoir book that Uncle Iroh wrote for Prince Zuko. So let's get in it, shall we? Let's go on a journey. I can't wait. We are in. Let's get this story going. Also, I changed some stuff to Prince Iroh's skills and attributes because I wanted certain edges and I had to change some stuff around. If I remember, I'll take a screenshot of his attributes and skills and put them on the screen right now. Right now, Iroh, how I set up this scene, but we're going to go into an event focus table and randomize things using Mythic Game Master Emulator. But with this scene, Iroh, what I'm thinking of Iroh is he's 15 years old. He's tired of training and being, his father wanting him to become a general, etc. And it's always class and fighting, and they're in the midst of a war with the world, basically. And he wants to he does this a lot. I'm going to say that he does this a lot. He just runs away. Typically in the Fire Nation, he runs away and just wants to be by himself. No guards or anything. The Fire Lord doesn't like that. He wants his son back where it's safe, or where he presumes it's safer. And he doesn't like that Iroh's walking around without guards. It seems like the Fire Lord is saying this is going to affect our reputation. My son's just walking around aimlessly around the villagers. It doesn't look good. To the Fire Lord's point of view, Iroh loves to be with the citizens and loves to help them out. A little bit of why everybody loves Uncle Iroh is a little seed now in Iroh, young Iroh, to where he's compassionate and stuff like this. So at age 15, he's showing that's the signs that he's going to become the Uncle Iroh that we all know and love. But regardless, so he's in a bustling part. It's a market. You hear a lot of people shopping and laughing and joking around. And Iroh is just not walking around aimlessly. He has a hood over his head. He's trying to hide, most likely from, soldiers that his father sent out to go catch him or retrieve him and bring him back. But he is trying to hide amongst the people and just live a normal life. That's what he wants to do. But let's do some not scene modification. Let's do an event to create my scene. That is the scene of how I map this. But to create what happens right now, let's go to the event focus table. So that is going to be a D100 on the second roll, not this one. So let's roll a D100. If I remember, I'll put up the table on the screen right now so you guys can see and learn at the same time. So let's roll it. Let's see what happens. 22. NPC action. Okay, that might not be good for Iroh. So an NPC action is the random event. Now we're going to go to event meaning action and event meaning subject, and I'll try my best to put those on the screen as well so you can follow along. Let's roll a D100 for action. Come on, are you done? Okay, there we go. 67, the action, open, subject. 96, the public, open to the public. So there's an NPC action open to the public. Okay. So what I'm thinking with that is, now we have to go through scene modification roll after I say this part. What I'm thinking is that the soldiers that got sent out to retrieve Iroh are out in the open, and they are in the public, and they are, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. They are announcing that we are looking for Prince Iroh. Has anyone seen him? And Iroh sees this, so they're right over here. They're right over here. Let's move this out of the way. So they're right over here, and they're announcing to these 4 or 5 or how many other people are here. Have you seen Iroh? And they're gathering around, and Iroh's hearing all this and starts slowly walking away. So let's go now to the scene modification roll. This is part of Mythic. We're at a chaos factor of 5. Let me get my paperwork ready in case. Iroh, where is it? There was a tab. There it is. So we're on a scene modification. So we're going to roll a d10 to see if this has been modified. What I just said. The scene I just said hasn't been modified. On the second roll, not this one. So a 5 or less, it has been modified. Let's see. A 4, it has been modified. And a 4 is an interrupt. So that means something interrupted this. That means we need to go back to the event focus table and totally randomize what just happened. So what happened, but something got in the mix. So even is interrupt. Yes. So well, let's see what happens here. So let's go back to the action. Let's take this out of here. A lot of rolling just to set up here. So let's see what happens. So the event focus table. 7D, right? 7D. A PC positive. Oh, something positive for Iroh, playable character. Something positive happens. Hopefully it's running away. Now let's roll for that. The action. D100. Are you done rolling? 48. Block. That's a good action to be stating right now. And subject. 14. Peace. Really? Block peace. But it's PC positive. So what happens is, what I'm thinking of, let's just roll some random person in, some random token. What I'm thinking of is somebody sees and notices Iroh. Somebody notices Iroh and walks over in this location and tells the guards, I've seen Iroh. And the guards, so second roll, how many guards? 2 guards. That sounds about right anyways. So let's roll 2 guards, or excuse me, let's put in 2 guards. Okay, so this person here, blocking peace, for PC positive, calls out to the guards over here and says, hey, I've seen Iroh. And while the guards are going this way, he kind of, the NPC kind of walks like this, so makes the guards look at him this way, while Iroh can just sneak out, going off over here. So the guards talk to the NPC. You've seen Iroh, correct? Yes, I have seen him. When did you see him? And the NPC, or let's say he's a vendor. Let's say he's a meat vendor. The meat vendor says, I saw him a few hours ago. It's been a while, though, since I've seen Iroh. And I don't think he's around anymore, but he was here. And the guards are a little bit suspicious of this NPC, of this meat vendor. Let's say they're going to roll now. They're extras, so they're going to just get a D6 for everything. So let's roll a D6 for notice. Do they notice? Would that be a notice? Let me think. Let's just do notice. Let's do notice. Do they notice that he's lying? Let's see if he notices. Second roll, not this one. So 4 or higher, they notice he's lying. Here we go. 5. So the one of the fighters goes up close to him and says, "I think you're lying." And the meat vendor slowly moves backwards. No, I'm not lying. He was here, but not any longer. And the fighter gets closer, or the guard gets closer. "Well, I don't believe you. Maybe I should ask a few others and ask them if you're lying or not." And he starts going off to this person, maybe a young child. "Young child, have you seen Prince Iroh? You know who Iroh is, correct?" And the child goes, Yes, I know who Iroh is. "Have you seen him in this location?" And Iroh's still sneaking by. These people don't want any problems right here. All these people, they probably, some of them love Iroh, some of them like him, etc. But they don't want problems. And they know that Iroh tends to sneak out. So they know it's not like a bad thing's going to happen if Iroh gets caught. It just goes back to the Fire Lord, which I guess is a bad thing for in Iroh's perspective point of view. But he keeps asking the child, "Have you seen him?" And the child looks at the meat vendor, and I think this is the father. And the meat vendor gets up closer and says, "Please don't speak to my son without me present." And the fighter goes, "Back off, liar. I can ask whoever I want, any question I want." And the other fighter comes in to give support. And Iroh's seeing all this, and Iroh doesn't want problems to start up because of him. And he doesn't want the child to get hurt or the meat vendor, which is obviously Iroh's close friend, because he's standing up for Iroh, saying he's not here. So Iroh, I was going to roll in the fate chart to say, would he go back? Would he go back? And I would think he would go back. But let's say that for a fate chart, this fighter here gets really, really fed up and raises his fist to punch the child to get a straight answer. Is this fighter, let's go to the fate chart, is this fighter going to actually punch the child? I'm going to say Fire Nation is kind of nasty, but I don't know how nasty they are to their own people. Or they're presumed to be nasty on the cartoon. Let's say that it is somewhat likely. That is a 65 or below. 11, which is an extreme yes. He's going to punch. So yes, he's going to punch this child. Iroh sees it, starts slowly walking back, and you hear screaming. "I've had enough with you, peasants. You never give a straight answer every time we come around." And the father steps in front of the child and says, "That's because you guys treat us so horribly. Why would we help you?" And the soldier backs up and puts his arm out, or puts his arm back, and goes through and tries to punch the child in the face. The father blocks. And right when the father blocks, Iroh screams, "Hey, you guys want me? I'm right over here, right under your nose the whole time. You guys have been following me for a while, I see." And the soldier looks over. "Iroh, there you are. Well, it was easy to follow you. You've been out here and about for days. The smell of your stench is easy to follow." And Iroh goes, "Well, geez, tell me what you really think about me." And Iroh looks at the men, looks at the soldiers, and walks even closer and closer. And the guard is still about to punch. Remember, it's an extreme yes, so he still wants to try to punch this child, and no matter if the father is in front of him blocking. And Iroh looks at the soldiers and goes and says, "Whatever you do to that child, I will do to you ninefold." And the soldier goes, why ninefold, Iroh? Why don't we just round it up to 10? That doesn't make any sense. No, Iroh says. I'm going to use that later on in a cartoon series, a tenfold quote. I don't want to waste it here. But anyways, the soldier goes, I don't care. And he goes to punch this child. Does Iroh do something to stop it? Would Iroh use firebending right now? Kind of close to a child. I don't know if he would want to do firebending. Let's see if he can do an athletics roll to run and jump over there in time. Let's see if he can do athletics roll. Athletics roll is at a D8. So he's in a D8 plus his wild die of a D6. So it's just D8 and a D6. So let's roll. 4 or more, he gets there. If he gets there with the success of a 4, he blocks. If he gets there with raises, we'll figure out if that happens. So let's see. Does he get there in time? 4 or more on either one. A 6. There we go. So he got there in time. So the soldier pulls back his arm again and goes to hit whoever's in his way. Probably the dad again. Iroh comes in and blocks it. And the soldier goes in and just punches. It gets blocked. And Iroh just grabs Iroh just puts his arms out and grabs the fist with his hand, the palm of his hand of the soldier, and just clenches the guy's fists. And the soldier's just screaming. And he's like, I was a 15-year-old this strong. And Iroh goes, I have a D8 on strength that the player just recently changed. So the soldier gets down on his knees and Iroh looks at him. And then Iroh looks while still holding the fist of the soldier. The other soldier backs up a bit, especially this is the prince right here. Iroh, while holding the fist of the soldier, looks around and sees all the people in amazement at how quick Iroh is and also how he protected the child. And many of them smiled. Many of them shook their head at the soldiers, saying that we're just, basically tired of your ways of conducting business with our town, with our part of this, part of the Fire Nation, this small village. And the father gets his child, which I can't grab him, but he gets his child and goes out in this direction, hiding behind this, hiding behind this caravan, this wagon. So Iroh looks down at the soldier, tells him, you know what, we're going to do something more random. Let me get my camera. We're going to go through and see how this rolls with the Uncle Iroh's Dream. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to do an event. So let's pull. If the event doesn't make sense, if any of these cards don't make sense, I get to pull up to 3 and decide which one makes the most sense. There's so many cards. But let's see right now. I'm just going to pull one event. If I pull from events, this is for later on as well. If I pull from events, I only pull the 3 from here. I just don't go around. So events. Let's see what the first card is. With Iroh looking around and Iroh seeing everybody scared, the children are scared, and some are happy because vengeance is happening. But let's see what happens with the event. In prison. Now, I wonder if I can do something with that. I think, yes, Iroh looks around and says to himself, look at everybody afraid. What kind of prince am I? This is not the way a prince should act. He lets go of the soldier's hand and tells the soldiers, if my father wants to see me, then take me. Hence in prison, Iroh, and take me back to see my father. I don't want you harassing any more of these people, and I will tell my father of your actions. But I don't want them to be afraid any longer, so take me away. So the soldiers go around Iroh and them walk off. Iroh apologizes to the father, The father just stares at the soldiers while they walk by. The soldiers just, kind of went, like, whatever, kind of, we'll get you next time kind of attitude. So, what's going to happen when Iroh meets his father? Who knows? We'll find out in the next episode. I hope you like this. Let me know. This is a lot of moving parts here, but it's going pretty well. Or at least I think it is. Let me know. Let me know if there's anything confusing. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. Savage Worlds, Fate Chart, and a Dream, Uncle Iroh's Dream card game happening. Now let's go with Fate Chart and see if we're at still Chaos Factor 5. No, it's getting more chaotic because now he has to leave. He was in control of the situation, but now he has to go back to his father. So the chaos factor went up to 6. It was at 5. Any threads? I think I'm going to put a thread of Iroh wants to find a way. Let me write it down. Iroh wants to find a way to leave the Fire Nation. To just venture out. Iroh wants to leave the Fire Nation to venture out. Okay, I'll put those down. Any NPCs? We have the meat vendor, but I didn't get a name. So I'll just write meat vendor, and we'll get a name sooner or later for him when we meet him again because he saved us, or tried to save us, or protect us, or come up with a story. That should be it, I think. So let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Of course. I want to hear any comment, negative or positive. Let me know. Let me know what I'm screwing up. Maybe I screwed something up. Remember, I'm a one-man show here. Happy gaming, everybody. Bye.